If you're practicing for the beloved legal professionals LSAT exam and going through practice questions right now and wondering just how a real life lawyer would answer these questions, well then, you've come to the right video at the right place. For those of you that are new to this channel, my name is Pamela Metani. I'm a business lawyer and I'm the principal lawyer and founder here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm where we serve exclusively business owners and entrepreneurs throughout the province of Ontario, and we do so virtually. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up and click on the subscribe button down below. We regularly post content here that's most relevant to business owners and entrepreneurs, but of course we do also have a law school student series and a new LSAT series on this channel. And I don't think I need to tell you, if you're prepping for LSAT right now, just as it takes you a lot of time to study for this exam, it takes us a lot of time to put these videos together and select the questions and bring some value to you as well. So did you give it a thumbs up yet? Now, our last series here was, or our last video, I should say, on the LSAT channel was logic reasoning, level easy or level 1 out of the 4 levels that LSAT has. And if any of you know me in my personal life, you know that I like to keep things very linear, very clear. So I think it's only logical that we follow up today with a level 2 in the same category of questions, logical reasoning. Okay, so I'm gonna put the question up on the board or up on the screen in like literally seconds, and I'm gonna read it out loud with you guys for the very first time. I didn't pick this question, my assistant picked this question, and I'm gonna be answering it live with you. I wanna make very, very, very clear, the way my mind works does not need to be the way your mind works, and vice versa. Because literally, if we all thought the same way, I mean, that goes totally against the diversity of thought that we all should aim for in workplaces, in educational places, all of that, okay? So if you are able to get to the same correct answer, but you're finding my thinking is like weird, that's okay. This is not a video on how to think. This is just a fun video in terms of how would a lawyer answer this question. Well, now here you have me, a lawyer in the room with you. I'm gonna open the question. You're looking at it for the first time too, and let's go through this question together. And I will just happen to share with you how I think, not how you must think, okay? I think that distinction is important. So let's go through the question. I have it big on the screen now. Okay. Astragalus linifolius. You can tell right off the bat, this is going to be an annoying question, because if they're already making you feel stupid with a name you can't pronounce, like, this question is not here to boost your self-esteem. It's here to try and trick us right off the bat. So AL, okay, that's what we're gonna call it. AL, a rare plant species that is found only in the Colorado region of the US, reproduces when a pollinating agent, like a fly or a bee, who cares, carries the pollen grain from the male part of one plant to the female part of the same species. Big picture of this first sentence for me, given that, as I disclosed in the first video in this series, I like to boil this all down to math. If I can't math this, then there's something wrong. So I need to math this. The math in this first sentence for me is AL equals plant equals needs pollen equals male and female parts. To maintain the population of this species, the use of pesticides that control grasshoppers should be banned in this region, the region being Colorado region. These pesticides also often result in significant mortality among the bee flies that are the most important pollinating agents of AL. So long story, we're shooting pesticides up in this region of Colorado, or let me math it out even one more level. Bad pesticides in region equals killing fly equals most important pollinator of AL, okay? Which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? So it's gonna be something that talks about the impact of this bad pesticide on the on the plant, and that's going to incorporate, I'm guessing there's a very strong chance, the bee fly, bombilius fly, and we're looking for some connection between the pesticide and the pollination and the plant itself, okay? So A, and by the way, I want to remind you, same as I did in the first video, you need to go into these questions with the answer in mind. Keep in mind, this is a level 2, so it's no longer the easiest question. A linifolius has a short lifespan. Automatic equals to 0 in the math realm. We know nothing about the lifespan of this plant, nothing. B, A linifolius is also pollinated, though to a much lesser degree, by some local species of bees. This could be a little tricky because it's in the first sentence, like a fly or a bee carries the pollen, and we're told that the bee fly is the most important agent, so you might make the logical error here to think that if bee fly is the most logical, the bees are somewhere in there, but to a lesser degree. But you know what? I'm sorry, this does not compute in my mind because we have no comparable data whatsoever. And we, for that matter, don't even know if bees are pollinating agents at all because we're being told or. So there's a world in which it's just flies and no bees. Okay, so I have to rule this out because again, the math comes to a 0. I have no data whatsoever on bees versus flies versus bee flies versus other kind of flies, la-di-da. C, the pesticides that control insect herbivores other than grasshoppers are even more toxic to bee flies. Absolute 0, absolute 0. Those other pesticides could be more expensive, that's why we're not using them. They could be more red, and the farmers don't like red on their crops or on their flowers. Like anything on planet Earth could be going on with other pesticides that are controlling insect herbivores other than grasshoppers. This is a total 0 in my Pam Metani brain. D, bee flies do not reproduce very fast, and their populations do not recover for many years after one spraying of a pesticide that controls grasshoppers. Okay, this is a very strong contender. Why? We went into this question knowing it's going to be something pesticide, something with these pollinator creatures, which we're told are the bee flies, and something, you know, could be with the AL flower itself. So the math here, we have some strong indicators. We're mentioning the flies itself, aka the pollinating agents. We're mentioning the pesticide itself. And as pertains to that fluff in the middle, do not produce fast and their populations do not recover. Well, of course, that's not anything we know from the fact pattern, but then again, is it something that would strengthen the argument? Yeah, it would strengthen the argument that this is a bad thing that's going on if we find out that on top of causing deaths, it's causing deaths in this bee fly creature that doesn't come to, very often, so to speak. So D, I'm flagging as the winner here, but I know some people like to read through all the options just to give themselves that confidence boost that they did in fact source the winner. So let's read E as well. The population of some other plant species in Colorado, I'm going to be very clear here, the math is already at 0. Why? Some other plant species. We're introducing something that has nothing to do with the original prompt, but for your viewing pleasure, I will read this to the last dot. Okay, the population of some other plant species in the Colorado regions have decreased to an even greater extent than the population of AL since the spraying of pesticides that controls grasshopper first started in the region. I think I made clear, and it's important to be confident in yourself and the way you're thinking. Otherwise, if you doubt yourself, you can be the most brilliant mind in the room, but you're always going to hold your own self back. So I want to be very clear. E to me is an automatic fail because the math is an automatic 0 as soon as we're introducing the other plant species. So whether by default or whether by fact that the logic in D actually added up because mathematically it had some of the ingredients we were looking for with the pollinating agent, aka the bee flies, and it mentioned the pesticide. To me, this perfect answer would have also included mention of the AL plant because those are that's the trifecta of the prompt, if you will. AL plant, pollinator, pesticide, but for what it's worth, the question is most strengthens the argument of the below 5 options. We're not, this is not, you know, the universe's a most perfect answer, but it's, you know, pick the best out of the worst, so to speak. And D is the best out of the worst to me. I'm gonna click submit answer, and let's see here. Okay, well, not surprisingly, we chose the right answer. Okay, I am surprised to see that E was this highest category of mistake, or you know, no pun intended with the flies and the bees, but this, you know, trapped the most bugs, so to speak. I can think of one reason as to why, and that's because as you're panicking on these, as the time is running out, I do remember once hearing something to the effect of, if you're rushed, other than like choosing D, funny enough, which was the correct option here, the longest answer option is often correct in LSAT. That's what I heard. That's not a statistic I'm sharing from my own observations. And E is the longest, so giving people benefit of the doubt, maybe that was like blindly chosen for being the longest, but otherwise, I mean, the math on that like is a total 0. Some other plans, on what planet? We're not talking about other plans, okay? So I'm also going to post up here because I know what it's like, and I know that the more information you have, the better. And to be fair, I want you to have other methods of thinking here that you're exposed to other than mine. I'm going to post the answer choice explanations from the platform this question was actually taken on, which was Manhattan something. I don't know if it was Manhattan testing, it was Manhattan something. You can pause the screen here. I won't, you know, I'm not literally going to pause for the 5 minutes it might take you to read this. I'll pause here for a few seconds, and you can pause the video for as long as you need. That's okay. But for what it's worth, these are the answer choice explanations from the platform that this question actually came from. So, turning the camera back on now, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope it was, you know, fun and a break more than anything to see somebody else take an LSAT question, in this case, a lawyer. I'm a lawyer of multiple years at this point in my career. I have my own law firm. I work with law students and help them all the time. Of course, I work with clients as well, and struggling or very successful, any end of the spectrum, business owners and entrepreneurs. And so, you know, without making it explicit, I've been around this, you know, kind of knowledge and thinking is what I'm trying to say. And I hope it helped you to see how a real life lawyer takes the LSAT. For what it's worth, never in my life practicing for the LSAT did I have the opportunity to watch a lawyer even virtually answer a question. So I hope this adds a little something extra to your study process, again with a very clear disclaimer that nowhere in this video am I telling you how to think. I answered this the Pam way, and there's a lot of ways that we all think, including myself, right? Like nobody's a one program kind of robot, and the mathematical approach I bring to the LSAT, although admittedly, you know, I do bring into a lot of areas of my life as well in terms of logic and efficiency and all of that, but we as human beings are capable of thinking in lots of different ways. So I don't want this to come across as like life boils down to math, but for what it's worth, I think it's an approach that has really helped me in LSAT and in law school tremendously. I'll link some law school videos down below, but also in life. And I wanted you to see this approach. If it adds some value to your studying, I'm so happy for you. And if it doesn't, who cares? I'm 1 out of 8 billion people. You don't need to watch this ever again, but hopefully you do. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Of course, subscribe down below. And if you're in the middle of studying for the LSAT right now, let me know. Are these videos helpful at all? Would you have answered it differently? And if so, how? Thanks again for watching, and we'll end the video there.